So in a previous recording, we showed you how to do the journal entries for a number of transactions. And now I'm going to show you how to post those journal entries to a ledger. I have another video where I showed you how to post it to a traditional style ledger that carries the balance as we go. And now here I'll show you how to use the T account ledgers, which is just another style of doing it. You'll see both probably in your homework. So anyway, these are T accounts, and they're called T accounts because, well, the lines look like T's, and you'll see that there's a T account for each ledger item. And so the journal entry is where we record the transactions as they occur. There's always a debit and always a credit, and they always equal each other. The ledger is where we figure out the balance of each account. So all we do to post these journal entries to a ledger is we take a look at what we did. So on transaction one, I debited the cash account 10,000. So I'm just going to do this on the debit side of this T account. Remember, debit means left. And I credited common stock. And you'll see I'm putting the transaction number off to the side, either the right for debits or the left for debits or the right for credits. In real life, we'd usually put a date there so we could keep track of which date these things happened on. Transaction two, we debited office equipment 3,000. And we credited cash 3,000. Sometimes you'll see them put the numbers on, not leave a space like I did there, but I feel like it's a little cleaner. If I can put the space and just put a separate transaction on each line, it's fine either way. Depending on how your LMS is set up, you may do it slightly differently. Transaction three, we debit cash 5,000 and we credit notes payable 5,000. Transaction four, we'll debit cash 1,500 and we'll credit service revenue 1,500. Transaction five, we'll debit rent expense 1,200 and we'll credit cash 500. No, 1,200. 1,200, yeah. Transaction six, we'll debit office supplies 500 and we'll credit accounts payable 500. Transaction seven, we'll debit utilities expense 300 and we'll credit cash 300. Transaction eight, debit cash 200 and we credit accounts receivable 200. Transaction nine, we debit cash 2,000 and we credit loan receivable. Whoops. And then finally, transaction 10 will debit retained earnings by 500 and we'll credit cash by 500. All right, so now that we've posted all of our journal entries over into our T account ledgers, we're ready to find the balance of our ledgers. So when we have multiple transactions like this, what we have to do is figure out the balance by adding up both sides. With Excel, it's pretty nice because I can just highlight it and I can actually see the sum, which means the total of 18,700 on the debit side and 5,000 on the credit side. So what we do is add up both sides and then we subtract the smaller side, in this case, the credit side, from the larger side, in this case, the debit side, and we put the balance on the larger side. So I know that my balance will go over here on the debit side for the cash account. And I can just say this equals the sum of all of the debit side minus the sum of the credit side. So the balance of my cash account is a debit balance of 13,700. With the rest of these, because there was only one transaction, our balance will just be there. I don't have to do any adding or subtracting. So accounts receivable has a credit balance of 200, which is unusual. So it'd be something we'd check out, but that's where we're at on this one. Office supplies has a debit balance of 500. Office equipment has a debit balance of 3,000. The loan receivable has a credit balance of 2,000 and so forth. And that's how we find the balances and do the post to the ledger when we're doing T accounts. So if your course uses a more traditional looking ledger that looks different than this and allows you to kind of add up the total each time, you may want to check out my other video on that. Anyway, hope that was helpful. Again, if you can like or subscribe, that just helps more people find the content. And good luck in the rest of your course.